the last CBPA Artist Talk. I am an artist in residence at Stanford through Institute for Diversity in the Arts and the Theater and Performance Studies Department. So welcome this evening. I'd like to start us out with a land acknowledgement before we get things going. We take a moment to recognize that Stanford sits on the territory of Huichin, the ancestral and unceded land of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, who are the successors of the historic and sovereign Verona Band of Alameda County. This land was and continues to be of great importance to the Ohlone people. We recognize that every member of the community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land. Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the university's relationship to Native people. And if you know the name of the peoples whose land you are watching from, go ahead and put it in the chat. So again, welcome to our last artist talk for this year with Be Steadwell and the mentees this year. And I want to tell you a little bit about the fellowship and CBPA, Committee on Black Performing Arts. The Committee on Black Performing Arts, known commonly as CBPA, is Stanford's first program dedicated to the arts and racial justice. Founded by a group of students in 1969 as a cultural resource to Stanford and surrounding communities, CBPA celebrates the diversity of the Black experience and is committed to exploring creative work and performance practices that are rooted in spirit, social justice, and experimentation from a Black feminist perspective. This 2021 academic year, we launched the Cbpa Fellowship, a year-long mentorship for theater, dance, performing artists, and writers centering Black-identified Afro-Latinx, Afro-Indigenous, African, and Caribbean undergraduate and graduate student experiences. This program pairs a student artist with a Black artist working in the field of theater, dance, music, and/or performing arts to be in a year-long mentored relationship focused on providing students with creative guidance while pushing the boundaries of their work. The fellowship hopes to create an intensive and deeply nourishing experience rooted in process and with an eye towards liberation. This artist talk hopes to offer a glimpse into the conversations that are taking place between our CBPA fellows and their artist mentors. Tonight, or this afternoon, we are excited to have CBPA fellows Imani Notando and Melinda Hernandez in conversation with Be Steadwell. I'm going to introduce the mentees, the fellows, and then they will in turn introduce Be. From Chicago's West Side to Stanford, from poet to MC, Melinda Hernandez is a multifaceted artist whose life is a puzzle time continues to solve. From a young age, she took interest in instruments and poetry through her participation in Kuumba Links, an after-school matters program, using the arts to build community and love. Her work with the pen has led her to the indie and team final stage in Louder Than a Bomb 2017, as well as the final stage in Cuspy 2018 and 2019. Her poems have since been featured on Button Poetry and Right About Now, as well as featured in The End of Chicago, a literary mixtape, and The Breakbeat Poets, Volume 4, Latin Next. A passion for lyricism and an ear for music eventually birthed an MC. A handful of singles and an EP later, Melinda, known on musical stages as Linda Soul, has had the pleasure of opening for artists such as 2 Chainz, LMI, Shangela, Dreezy, A Chow, Samaria, and Mariba. She is currently working on developing her craft and shooting more music videos. Feel free to check out her music on SoundCloud or Spotify and stop by her YouTube page to see her first couple of visuals. Next, I'm going to introduce Imani Notando, who is then going to introduce Be Steadwell by virtual video. Imani Notando is a singer, songwriter, and dancer whose work is a portal into her daydreams of peace, pleasure, and vitality for Black people. Through song, she conjures healing for herself, her ancestors, and her community. Music is how she remembers and finds her way back home when she is lost and confused. She is a beautiful Black woman, the oldest of 4, a quiet rebel, a beam of sunshine, a believer, a creator, and lover of life. She is currently working on her debut EP, which explores themes of ancestry, hoodoo, and coming home to oneself. You can find her sharing her journey with music and spirituality on TikTok and YouTube. And with that, we're going to turn it into a video of Imani, who will introduce B.
Thanks so much for that lovely introduction. I'll be doing the honors of introducing Be Steadwell is a musician, filmmaker, and storyteller from Washington, D.C. In her live performances, she utilizes looping, vocal layering, and beatboxing to compose her songs on stage. Bee's original music features earnest lyricism and affirming LGBTQ content. Bee's goal as a musician is to make other Black girls, queers, introverts, and generally marginalized weirdos feel seen and loved. With a BA from Oberlin College and an MFA in film from Howard University, Bee's love for music expands into filmmaking. Her film Vow of Silence screened in film festivals around the world, including Black Star, HBO's Outfest, the Schomburg Center, Inside Out Toronto, and Fringe Fest UK. Bee has shared stages with fellow artists, activists, such as Brig Frida, Nona Hendrix, Nikki Finney, and Jeannie Asher. In 2017, Bee sang at the Women's March on the National Mall behind Maxwell and Janelle Monáe in Toshi Reagan's Big Lovely Band. In 2019, Bee composed the music for the Alvin Ailey Dance Company's production of The Gone. Later that year, Bee wrote and directed a musical, A Letter to My Ex. Bee's musical tells stories of love, narrating one character's journey through the year following a breakup. In 2020, Bee released her newest album, Succulent. During the pandemic, you can find Bee on her Patreon channel, patreon.com/Be Steadwell. Join me in welcoming Bee. Oh, I clap for Okay, I can start off with the first question. I've so enjoyed working with you. I'm so grateful to be able to share space and share ideas with you. And one thing that has been really interesting to hear about is your process. So I'm wondering if you could talk about that, like how you tap into ideas in the first place, and then how you go about bringing them into reality, both thinking about vocals and also like instrumentation.
Thank you, Imani. That was a beautiful introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Bee, and I actually would love to get to the question after kind of an opening piece, if that's okay. If everyone's just kind of loosen it up, get the nerves out. So this is a piece about joy. And it requires a little bit of a dance move. So during the chorus, you have to delicately pick greens from your garden for a salad for yourself or for a lover or for your family. So I'm going to ask you to do this if you feel comfortable during the chorus, like as enthusiastically as you wish. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best. I'm gonna give you. You got that dark green love. You got that summer sweet. I've got the greenest thumb. I promise when you come, we gon' be planting seeds. Planting seeds, babe, 'cause I'm gonna give you the best greens in my garden. I'll pick the biggest leaves, yeah, the biggest leaves. I'm gonna give you the best greens in my garden. I need you healthy for me, yeah, healthy for me. I wanna keep you here for 100 years. I wanna run through trees. I want you running right in front of me. Let's go and play with dirt. Let's go and save the earth. Ooh, this love is so alive. Breathe in the freshest air. Breathe it in. Bathe in the sweet sunlight. Swim in it. Ooh, honey, get you some. I promise when you come, my garden gives you life. 'Cause I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens. I'm gonna give you the best greens, the best. I'm gonna give you. Okay. Who? Thank you for dancing with me. Y'all are so like ready. I usually have to kind of really enthusiastically tell people to do that. Thank you. Okay, so cool process. So a lot of my work, all of my work, really is about healing, and it's about creating what I need in the space. And so usually it's just about a strong feeling that becomes a melody that I put words to. And every song I write in a different way. There's no one way that I write, but for the most part, it's about exercising a feeling and healing through that, and in turn, hopefully healing whoever listens to it who needs that thing. Yeah, that's a start.
Thank you so much for sharing that song with us.
Sure.
I mean, it brought me so much joy, and I found it interesting that you were speaking about your process being like exercising an emotion, because it's so evident how that emotion, you're able to bring that emotion out of the audience too. Like my cheeks kind of hurt from smiling. that was so joyful. So thank you for that. Building off of that songwriting process, one question that I had was, I feel like as artists, we approach a blank page and there's kind of this pressure of making something from nothing. The process of gathering raw materials as a writer, I think is a little bit different than other art forms that have raw materials in front of them to craft something or create something. So my question was, what is your process of gathering raw materials for your art before you even begin the writing process?
Can I ask a follow-up question? Give me an example of what you mean by raw materials.
Well, in one of our discussions, you recently had told us about like morning pages, for example, as something that top of the morning you get your thoughts out, and that sometimes could be like material that you see later on in your art. So, if any other processes like that you have.
I got you. Okay, thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Yeah, morning pages is actually it's something I've started doing recently after reading The Artist's Way, which I recommend for anyone. But yeah, just like that free association, it's really hard to write without judgment, to just put whatever happens in your brain on the page. It doesn't look good. It's not interesting sometimes, but you're just letting your brain just kind of jog in place. And I think once you do get through kind of the like, my back hurts, that was annoying yesterday, you get to this weird kind of dreamy stuff that that's from dreams, it's from subconscious, it's from like wounds, you know. So pages and free association, I think, is a good start. And other than that, just love, writing about love. That's my favorite thing. That's mostly what I do. So there's always a love to write about in your life, you know, not necessarily romantic, but there's always, you know, there's always like something that you're learning about love, no matter where you are, I think. So that's most of my raw material.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I found it really helpful in our conversations to think about just collecting the world in front of me and paying attention to it more, you know, realizing that there is love all around me, or there is whatever feeling around me, there's something to pull from. I feel like sometimes as artists, it feels like running out of inspiration is the dead end, whereas like there's inspiration everywhere. And so speaking on inspiration and the writing process, how would you say your writing process is different when working individually versus working in collaborative spaces with folks?
That's that's a good question. I have trouble letting go of control. That's an issue of mine. But I like to give away things that I know other people are better at, there are many things. So I think I collaborate best with folks who are sort of the balance of me in some way, like instrumentalists or lyricists who are a certain kind of, who write a certain way that I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think it's helpful for me being very much a control freak to just be organized with when writing with other people. It's probably good to be organized always, but just saying like this element of the song is yours, you know, like this verse is all you. We can like interact and kind of give feedback. I think probably like I think about working with Climbing Poetry, the duo, and working with Naima. Like they're both very very organized artists and very like hardworking artists, and you know we would butt heads and we would be like, there was so much information, but I think just like having things really well organized and talking and like always with love, that made it work. But I do think for me it's a lot easier to write alone.
Understandable. Understandable for sure. I would consider myself too an artist that's like, it's a struggle for me to write in a collaborative space because I have my own editor and then I have the fear of the other person's editor, and then it's just so many opinions moving. And I also consider myself an artist that could be a bit disorganized. And so that a question for you would be, I see we all got to witness that, how you're able to, you know, engage in so many different instruments and your vocals, and there's so much knowledge that goes into the creation of a song, and you have this overseeing knowledge of like song creation. And so being in a place where I am, like, I'm trying to pick up different instruments and different MIDI boards, like, what was your process of being able to really immerse yourself in different instruments and softwares to like learn and be able to create a whole song through and through by yourself?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say you are organized. All right. I saw your spreadsheet yesterday, so
That's the only one
you
I
might
have.
be too organized. Yeah. That's a really good question. I wasn't like, I'm not naturally a tech person, but I realized in order to create my own music, I had to be. So I wasn't the person getting all the MIDI boards. I'm still not. I'm not trying to learn 18 softwares. I'm trying to learn the easiest one right now so I can make something now, and then, like, get as far as I can with that, and then grow slowly through the next step. And yeah, I mean, it's the same way with these loop pedals and with instruments. I got the cheap one, the cheap durable one, and I learned it, and I was bad at it for like 2 years, and then I got the next level one, and then so yeah, for me it's actually overwhelming to get a new instrument and be like, how does this work? I don't know. It feels like a lot of time it takes to really like get to know an instrument or a software. So I take it really slow. That's not for everybody, honestly. Like, some people are just mad scientists and they got all the stuff. But me, yeah, I gotta just take small bites.
Right. Putting too much on your plate and unable to eat it all. I feel like I do that myself sometimes. I'm like, I get frustrated because I like get a guitar and can't play it after day one. So it's like, I appreciate that.
I feel you on that. I've been trying to learn guitar. I've been a beginner for like 15 years, so I'm with
my
you.
life. Yeah. What would you say? I struggle with this a lot, this feeling of this internal process that writing is for me. It being a source of healing and understanding the world around me, and this balance between it also being something very public, and something that I'm writing and sometimes have the thing in my mind, like, is this something that I will be sharing? Is this something for me? And so how do you balance that friction between having art be something very personal for yourself and it being very public to your audience?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it helps that I was writing music for a long time and no one cared. Okay. So I think that's most of us, like with art, you make art for a long time and it's like your people see it and they're like, cool. They're like, yeah, you're doing that thing again. So just being raised in a it's not that public. It's pretty intimate. Even sharing it online, like a few people see it. It doesn't feel like a big thing. And I don't think I don't know. I just don't. I know. I mean, we were talking about this. Like, I know that the harder it is for me to say out loud, like, the more it's gonna heal me to say it, and then the more like, as an audience member, I really want to hear people take risks. I want to hear people be vulnerable. I want to hear people like on the verge of breaking down. And so I'm never worried about like telling my business. I don't care what people really know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are definitely boundaries, but it's more important to me to be really sincere and really honest than like think about what somebody's going to say about me, if that makes sense.
It definitely does. I feel like that's like a key to life, the art of not caring what people think, especially with art and our personal healing. And I think that in this past year, we've had a lot of things that have called for our healing and our grieving and our mourning. And how has survival of an artist look like in the past year or any time in your life that there's been hardship, whether that be a personal or artistic or financial survival? What is survival to you in the face of hardship as an artist?
Yeah. I mean, in the context of today, or now, these times, the hustle feels really different because I think when I was younger, I thought about like, oh yeah, selling tapes out of your car, like this, like never go to sleep, always in the studio, like this image. And it's like, that is real, but also like the hustle, I think now, the mindset of the hustle now is like hardcore self-care. Like, you bet, like, I'm gonna take that bath with the oils. I have to light a candle. I have to meditate every day, especially now, because now is like traumatic every day. As Black folks, as artists, shit is traumatic every day, regardless. But yeah, it's like a really hardcore hustle coupled with a hardcore self-care routine, because I cannot keep hustling if I'm insane. Like I cannot, not insane, but if I'm like really anxious, I can't perform well, I can't be present, and it's sort of a snowball. So that's a big one. In terms of financial stuff, it's just being creative. Like I'm doing a lot of commissions now for dancers, or for other music foundations, and Patreon is a big part of my work now. I perform on my Patreon, and I have a certain amount of folks who donate monthly, and that's kind of been a lifeline. But yeah, financially, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough because performing live was the main way that I made a living. But again, I think like the communities that we work for, our people are there for us. I feel like my people are there for me, and I'm not afraid of losing everything, or not having a place to live, or something like that. So there's that.
Thank you so much for sharing that and being vulnerable and honest and genuine with us, because I think that the way that you approach your work and the way that you approach this conversation with that same leading with vulnerability, I think creates space for other people to be vulnerable and thus heal. And I think that that has been like a big part of our conversations together in our trio. I wish Imani was here with us, because the trio, y'all, the dynamic it's dangerous. It's dangerous. But it's great.
We're amazing.
But really, thank you so much for answering these questions and engaging in all the conversations that we've had so far, because it's really been a space of learning and healing, and just learning more about how to approach the writing, not even what's getting out on the page, but the conversation before and after it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this. I love it.
So should we pass it? I don't know exactly what's next.
Yeah, Amara, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, I know that you had some work that you had a video, or if you wanted to share a process with us, yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wanted to do so. In during the pandemic, I started doing more work around meditation and affirmations because it's what I needed. Yeah, just sort of being listening to what sort of spirit was telling me to do, which was create a piece about grief, about like Black and brown folks and like grieving collectively. So it's the beginning of something, and I wanted to sort of offer a space to do an affirmation with y'all. And the way I do it is I would ask y'all to put an affirmation or two or three, that you love and that you need. You may not believe it now, but let's say you need to believe it. You're trying to believe it. If you put it in the chat, yes, okay. Stephanie says, I am love. Oh, here we go. And then I'm going to create a piece around that. I am healthy. I am enough. Yeah. Glowing and creating. It will work out. Yeah. I help my loved ones grow. Okay. Feel free to keep adding. So I'm going to just turn out the light. And I'm going to grab some blessings here from the candle. And then I'm going to work on these affirmations. And if you feel like you want to close your eyes or turn off your video, I invite you to do that. I am healthy. I am enough. I help my loved ones grow. I help my loved ones grow. Ooh. Mm. Thank you all so much. Mm.
Wow, thank you. I feel like we just need pause for a moment and just let that digest. Mm. Mm. Thank you for that medicine.
Absolutely.
Mm. Ooh, so while we take, just take pause and digest the beauty of that, if folks have questions, please put them in the chat. I would like to start out with a question in terms of, I remember I saw you perform with Toshi Regan at in Berkeley at the Freight and Salvage. Yeah, at Freight and Salvage. And I was like, sure. And it was so beautiful the way that Toshi gave you so much praise and space and the engagement with the audience. And so like, how are you finding your work, working in this virtual space, and the challenge of that, of the intimacy of the ways that it's beautiful the way you drew us in. And how are you, how is that how are you getting your life out of it, because this is such a one-way, device, and just anything you want to share about what it is to be doing this kind of work in this virtual space.
Yeah, thank you, Amara. That's it's very different. I think there is an exchange of energy, ideally, not always, not every time, but sometimes I feel y'all. I mean, today I feel y'all. And it's just seeing the good in different ways. So like I released an album last April, and it was very sad to cancel. I had to cancel a whole tour, but when I had my album release, there were people from all over the world there, which they wouldn't have been able to come, and if it weren't for this. So yeah, just trying to find the different ways and adjust, because it's just not the same, and it doesn't have to be, a sad not the same. It can be good in different ways. But I will admit I'm I'm hitting a wall with the virtual with the virtual performances. It's tough, you know. Um, it really is the best feeling to be in a room with people and to hear sound in a room. But yeah, I feel like there are ways to do it this way, and maybe I haven't really figured out the best way for me yet. But yeah, I'm working on it.
That's so interesting that you say that. I believe it 1,000%. You know, we've had that conversation, but in so many ways, I feel like this setup is also very natural for you. You know, just the intimate concert in your home.
Yeah.
For me, that's like so much of how I've been introduced to your music over many years.
Yeah.
You know, and
You're
so
right.
for me,
You're right.
yeah, so for me, it feels like it feels all very natural, and I feel like you know it the best because that's been so much a part of how you shared your music with us over this time. Um,
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's
like
not.
this setup feels so familiar to me in a
Yeah.
beautiful way.
Yeah, no, um I love the genre bedroom pop because it's like it's so exactly what I like to make. You know, I like to just be in bed with a microphone and, and just kind of beam out from there, but I never performed that way. It was just like offerings. It was just like I just wrote a song, here you go. So it is different to perform that way, and there are comforts to it. Like I got my tea, I got my socks on. There's some nice things about it, but um, maybe I just want my bedroom to have like bunch of people in it. Not in a weird way, but I want it all, maybe.
No, I hear you. So I guess the question that comes out of that is how, one of the things that impresses me so deeply is just how consistent you are and have been with just for giving these offerings to us in the forms of songs and films and albums and musicals. And so how are you so comfortable, and I guess you just do it, but how are you so comfortable just putting your work out there so consistently and at so many different levels and forms and
Mm.
all of that?
It's I don't know. It's like what it brings me joy. It's like that's kind of the only um, way to say it. I love it. Um, I love to create and share and try new things, and it's hard and grueling sometimes, but it's the best. I don't know. Like I just love it. It's,
If other folks have questions or comments and you can even unmute if you like and put it forward. Tyler, anyone who was, you know, yeah, just go for it.
I had a question. So thank you for sharing so much. Your work is incredible. And so I had a question about sort of like inspiration, if there's like artists that you get inspiration from or like moments, because I know there's particular times when I'm like, I think Melinda, you kind of said it of like, oh, I've run out of ideas. Like there goes like music. So like things that like keep you inspired or sources you draw from.
thanks for that question, Ace. Well, I mostly write pop music, so I listen to a lot of popular music, and I don't like most of it, but I find the gems that I really do like, and and then I supplement that with more with older stuff, underground stuff, stuff that's strange and not like really in any genre. Um, yeah, I mean it's been kind of a dry time, a spell for me in terms of artists that inspire me. Um, I'm just getting more and more picky as I get older. But I'm listening to that song Up, that Cardi B song right now a lot, and there are some lines that offend me and that I don't love, but it just it just it just makes me do that. It just makes me like run, and I like that. I like um, I like a bop. I like a song that makes people just dance anywhere. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of other like more highbrow things that I get into, but there's a lot of pop music, you know.
Tyler, you had a story you told. You see, I'm pulling you forward.
For sure. I'm sorry. I'm still just digesting this like affirmation moment we just had together. I was just like, ah. But no, before we hop on the call, I was just telling Amara and Alon and Grace how grateful I was to like share space with you like 5 years ago when we worked on the bottom together with a sound design for Alon's production, and how you had little things that you said and that you just did creatively and just as a person that just like have stuck with me since. Um, and um, and one particular moment where I think I was trying to like work through something compositional, and I'm thinking through it like a pianist, and I've got my 10 fingers and just like lots and lots of notes, and I was just like, but I'm not coming up with a song. And you were like, well, have you ever thought of just playing one note at a time, like one finger, like just just using one finger to think of a song? And I was like, oh, facts. And I think just moments like, because you know your voice is kind of the one finger, like, but it's like every note is, it's that one finger can go so many different places. And I just loved it all, because you truly embody to me, probably more than a good number of artists that I know, someone who truly is just like their instrument is their voice, like your instrument is the first instrument, the one that carries with the person everywhere they go. So I don't have a question for you in that regard, but that story I guess I wanted to share. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, that's really just because I'm bad at piano. But yeah, because that's how I play piano. But I appreciate that so much. That is, I yeah, I'm like sometimes grateful that I'm not. No, I'm not grateful that I can't play piano. But yeah, I'm very much a start with very simple as possible. Um, yeah, and I appreciate that. That was such a good time. I miss that time. I want to be there right now. But I appreciate that so much. Uh,
That is so interesting to hear about, because I think back to one of our first conversations when we first met as a group, and one of the tasks or like assignments that you gave me and Amani was to create a beat solely using our voice and create a song only with our voice beginning to end, which I'm still like, composing. But it's just interesting to hear that that's something that has carried through your body of work, from your creation to your like production. That's awesome.
Thanks, Melinda. It's really out of necessity though. It's not like if I was really good at piano, it would be a different story. But you know, you got to use what you have. You know.
Well, could you talk about your relationship to the loop pedal and how what is that relationship? It feels like a lot and so much.
Yeah. Well, I I always was a singer. I always was a not a belty fancy singer. I was always kind of like in the a cappella group doing harmonies, always doing harmonies. And so I um I think I was in a rap duo, and uh we were doing tracks, like we were singing to tracks and stuff. And it felt a little disconnected because the track is a whole world that isn't there. You're just playing it, and no one can see it. It's just playing. Um, so I bought a loop pedal in order to help myself write, just as a tool, writing tool, basically. And I had seen a cellist use one, just creating melodies and then more and more, and it made me cry. It was so beautiful. Um, So I was like, maybe I can play with this live, um, and just create songs live. And so I did that. It's again, I was not good at it for about a year. I made a lot of mistakes in front of people, um, which I needed to, I guess. But and it's limited. You know, you can't have a bunch of key changes. You can't have all these different movements necessarily. You have to really stick to kind of a chant um, structure. But and also playing live is very hard with a loop pedal because it picks up the sound in the room. So if you have an audience that is not very attentive, or you're in a bar where people are chatting, it becomes very muddy because you're recording and looping all of the sound in the room. So it's not perfect, and it's not everything I do live, but it's really fun, and it's a really great way to keep it simple and to write pieces, to get ideas together. If you have a melody you love, just like put it on there, put a beat on there, put the melody in, and just play. Yeah, I highly recommend it if folks are thinking about it. If Melinda, you need a new toy, you probably don't. But yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I have a quick question. I was a few years ago, I happened upon your film, A Vow of Silence, and I just thought it was hauntingly beautiful. And right now, I'm still sitting with how beautiful the affirmation was. And I was just wondering if you could speak to the relationship between your different mediums and how filmmaking feeds into your music or vice versa.
Yeah, I thank you so much, Evelyn. Yeah, I mean, I only don't make more films because it's quite expensive. It's just a huge undertaking. But I love filmmaking. I love playing with light. I love using pretty much filmmaking is just everything. You know, it's performance, it's photography, it's dance, it's everything. So it's just basically an extension of the music. I like to tell a story in the music. I like to tell a story in the film. And I especially love being able to have queer Black people just everywhere. Like, this is the world. This is that's what I loved about making Vow of Silence. It was just like, other people don't exist, because that's the world that I live in. I mean, there are some other folks here and there, and I love them, but putting Black queer folks at the center and seeing all of them, not just me singing a song, but like everybody, the whole cast, in all of the different ways that were beautiful. Like, I live for that, and I want to make more of that, but for now, just creating the more intimate sort of individual world of the song is what I can manage for now. Yeah, but thank you so much for talking about that.
B, I have a question.
Yep, I think I know who this is. Stephanie?
Yes.
What's up?
Okay, B. Since you're so hands-on and everything, can you speak to how hard it's been having to do a Patreon, but how you've been receiving love from that or not?
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you every time, all the time, every day. Yeah, Patreon is tough. It's tough to get people to get into a new platform. It's maybe not even the best, most pretty, beautiful, accessible design that they have there. But if you gather the folks who really, really love you, your work, and say, give me $3 a month, and they're all together and they're all doing that, it makes a huge difference. Just having that support and having a space to like give all the stuff behind the scenes, new songs. Mainly, I feel that like we are asked as musicians, we're asked to do a lot of shit for free. Our music is for free online. You know, we're performing virtually for free, and it felt really empowering to have a space where I'm like, I'm giving you a lot of stuff, but none of it's free. And yeah, I it's fun. I like it. It's not for everybody, but I'm into it. Thank you, Stephanie, for the question.
Can I ask another question?
Yep.
Song of Day 2020. When we getting that?
Pretty soon, probably. I need to write some new songs. Yeah.
No, they're already written.
Oh, 20. Oh, you talking about an album of 2020?
No, the song a day that you did for 2020.
Okay, we need to talk. We need to talk, just you and me, I think. Text me.
The people want to know where the music is at. I love it. I love it so much, and I love you so much. I'm so thankful for you spending your time with us, not only today for your artist talk, but throughout this year as you work with the Cbpa Fellows. And thank you so much for all the fellows who are here tonight and everybody else. And congratulations, that was a beautiful, like moving offering that you gave, and so we are blessed to receive it. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the whole Ida family. Thank you, Tyler, for bringing us the opening music. And thank you for that closing blessing, healing blessing, Be. Thank you so much. Good night, y'all.